If you're watching this video, chances are you're thinking, is Kendall the best place to move to in Miami? Kendall is very affordable compared to other parts of Miami-Dade County. A lot of people are moving to Kendall because it is one of the best neighborhoods in Miami, but there are quite a few reasons that are stopping people from moving here. My name's Amit Bhuta. I'm part of the All in Miami group. I've lived in Miami since I was 4 years old, and Kendall probably for 30 years. We sell tons of homes to some of the richest people you see, and we also sell a lot of properties to people that are moving to Kendall. In this video, we're gonna break it down into 5 different sections. The first section is my perfect day in Kendall. Number 2, pros and cons of living in Kendall. Number 3, the real cost of living. Number 4, the future of Kendall. And number 5, Amit's ratings. In Amit's ratings, I'm gonna rate 10 different items, and hopefully by the end of that, you're gonna know if Kendall is right for you or not. So this is my perfect day at Kendall. My wife Rashmi is working half a day, so I'll get with her a little bit later. But in the beginning of the day, I meet my friend Robert. He's the owner of this place called Outrageous Bagel. So we meet at Ron Ehmann Park. So we play a couple sets of tennis. We get there early, and after that, we go to Robert's restaurant, Outrageous Bagel. And I get my typical chicken salad wrap and potato salad. I've been having that for over 15 years, and it's amazing as always. So I eat there, and then Rashmi's off from work. So I say bye to Robert, and I meet Rashmi at the Haagen-Dazs place. So I get a milkshake. Rashmi hasn't eaten, but I convinced her to have a milkshake for lunch that day. And it's only 1,140 calories because I do get the whipped cream and I get the sprinkled caramel on the whipped cream. So after that, we're feeling tired. We don't feel like doing anything. But so I'm like, let's go to a movie. And unlike Netflix, where we can never figure out what to watch, there are very limited choices. So we just pick the first movie and we watch the movie. We go back home, drop off Rashmi, and I'm like, you know what? I'm hungry again. So I check out Siam Bistro. I go there with my friend Ryan and Jimmy. And Siam Bistro is actually closed today. They're out of town, so we end up going to Rusan. So while we're there, Ryan has his camera. He has this channel called the Okadu channel, just recording everything. And I'm embarrassed if you see me in there, but maybe you see it. So we go to Rusan. We have Thai food. We're in the mood for Thai food. They have amazing food there. Siam Bistro is really good too. And then after that, we get dessert. We go to Whole Foods. They have these cookies. They were $1 before, now they're $2. And we each have 4. So I think I probably had about 4,000 calories that day. So I go home and just give Rashmi a high five again and go to sleep, and that's it. So the community vibe of Kendall is very suburban. There are so many people that live in Kendall. And for those of you that don't know Kendall, where it actually starts and ends, no one does. If you go on Wikipedia or any other of these Google websites or AI or whatever you're gonna check, it has between 80,000 residents and 250,000 residents. So Kendall is very diverse. A lot of people that live in Kendall are in multiple different occupations. You're gonna see doctors, lawyers, you're gonna see teachers, firefighters, and you're gonna see many, many different income levels. So Kendall is very diverse like that. The community vibe is pretty friendly for the most part. These lots are big, so people have their space, but people are the friendliest in South Florida when there are hurricanes. And you're gonna get to know people really well during that. I grew up in Kendall, so I know it really, really well, and I like it. I think you will like it too. If you're going to Kendall to get this exclusivity and urban energy, you're not getting it. Your neighbor is gonna sort of know who you are. Also, there's so many people that live there. So if you call 250,000 people exclusive, you're an idiot. So it's not exclusive. As far as coolness factor, it's not cool. It's suburban, you know? It's the opposite of Wynwood, but it's fun, it's friendly, and it's nice. So there are a lot of pros of living in Kendall. Kendall is very affordable for the most part. And it's funny when I say affordable. Now to get a single family home, a nice single family home in Kendall is close to $1 million. A few years ago, that was $300,000-$400,000. But for Miami, that's not that bad. And so what are you gonna see in Kendall? You're probably gonna see homes that are 2,000 square feet or more. You're also gonna see properties that have lots of land. You're gonna have quarter-acre lots or more. Also, if you're gonna go and get a mansion or something like that, it's gonna be 1/2 or 1/3 or 1/4 the price of many other areas in Miami-Dade County. Other pros, parking is amazing. It's very easy to park. You don't have to pay for park for the most part. If you have a party, you're gonna have room for them to park at your house. Many, many pros. Also, there's so many shops and restaurants that stuff is open all the time. So you're gonna always have time to do things. So lots of pros with cost of real estate, just green space area. There's so many pros like that. But there are definitely lots of cons. Lots of flood zones in Kendall. So not that you're gonna see flooding all the time, but once in a while you will. The drainage areas aren't that great. So when we get into this rainy weather during the summer, you're gonna find areas that are flooding. Another thing, it's pretty far south. If you work in Brickell or downtown, or you tend to go there a lot, or Wynwood or Miami Beach, or need to go to the airport, the traffic can suck, especially if you're in West Kendall. It's not that great. Another con is, it's not that cool. It's suburban, If you think you're cool and you move to Kendall, all of a sudden you may be a little bit less cool. No one is getting impressed when they say, where do you live? You're not saying like South Beach or Wynwood or something like that, or Star Island. You're saying Kendall. So they're gonna be like, okay, cool. Not gonna be like, oh wow, he lives in Kendall. Not gonna get that. So those are some of the cons. There are probably some more, but there are probably some more pros as well. So if you know a lot about Kendall, make sure to comment below. And if you don't know about Kendall, make sure to read comments. And if there are no comments, say, for those of you that live in Kendall, make sure to write down a comment. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. It helps us out. It really doesn't do much for you unless you like the content. So hopefully you do. So how prime is the location for Kendall? Depends what you do. If you don't need to go far north or east, Kendall is perfect for you. If you have friends, family, your job is Southwest Miami-Dade County, it's perfect because you have space, you have a lot of things to do, there's so many people. For the most part, they're pretty nice. Also, it's very diverse. So depending on if you're Indian, if you're Hispanic, if you're white, whatever you are, there are gonna be a lot of people that are similar to you. Not that you need to be around them, but you're gonna see it's very diverse, which is great. As far as the location being a prime location, if you need to go further out, like downtown or Brickell or Wynwood and these other areas, if you're traveling a lot, if you're going to the airport a lot, it's not that great. So how's the safety of Kendall, the privacy? Are there gated communities? Yes, to answer all of them. So Kendall is very safe compared to most other areas of Miami-Dade County, and it ranks pretty well across the nation. Again, these are my opinions, these are my research, so make sure to check on your own. But Kendall is known as a safer community. And there are a few reasons for that. There are a lot of police that live in Kendall, so I don't know if that stops people from doing bad things, but maybe it does. So as far as privacy, there are different areas of Kendall with gated communities where you're a little bit more private than other areas. So it's pretty good because Kendall is so big, you have a mix of everything. So if you want privacy, you can get it. Maybe not as private as like Star Island or Fisher Island, but for the most part, you can get private areas of Kendall, but you can also get areas that are way less private because it is so big. So what are the architectural features of Kendall? It's a lot. It's very diverse, again, just like the people. You're gonna see a lot of these old ranch style homes, and you're gonna see a lot of homes that are new construction. Because Kendall is, people are tearing down a lot of these older homes and they're building these big mansions because stuff in Pinecrest, Coral Gables, South Miami surrounding areas are getting more expensive. More developers are buying these teardowns and building nicer homes. And you're gonna see a mix of homes. You're gonna see these box mansions, and you're gonna see these older, more traditional type mansions that are a little bit updated. And you're also gonna see, one of the good things about the architecture in Kendall is that a lot of the homes are built after Hurricane Andrew in 1992. So they are a little bit better with the weather and with hurricanes. So it's gonna be a mix of everything with the architecture. The quality of schools of Kendall are mixed because it's so big. You're gonna see a lot of schools that are terrible, and then you're gonna see a lot of schools that are great. And there are a lot of private schools in Kendall and surrounding areas that are very good as well. So depending on where you move, meaning if you have a budget for a more expensive home, you're probably gonna get better schools. If you have the means to go to private schools, you're gonna have some in Kendall and some in surrounding areas as well. The resilience to weather for Kendall is a mix. So it's very good because it's inland, so you're far from the coast, so you're not getting evacuated too often, but it's bad because it floods there a lot. A lot of Kendall is in flood zones. But because the homes are built, a lot of them are built after Hurricane Andrew, they're pretty good at withstanding the storms. There are a lot of properties in Kendall that are in communities with HOAs. And as homes get older, these HOAs are getting more and more expensive. Just to give you an example, we were doing a rental. Our team, even though we sell 80% high-end luxury real estate, price point of probably $1.5 million or more, we also do rentals for $2,500 a month. We did a rental recently for $2,800 a month in Kendall. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Property is probably worth about $350,000, $400,000, but the HOA was $800 a month. There weren't that many amenities. There were some amenities, but because the property was older, a lot of these HOAs are creating this reserve fund for future repairs and improvements, and that's why the HOAs are pretty expensive. They're not as expensive as some of the other areas like Coral Gables, Brickell, Edgewater, Wynwood, but they are getting closer to them. So the healthcare of Baptist is great. There's Baptist Hospital. There's actually more than one Baptist hospital. There's West Kendall, there's Kendall, and multiple other satellite locations. My dad was a physician at Baptist Hospital. He was in the ER in urgent care. When we lived in England, I'm gonna give him props, he was a plastic surgeon. So he worked in Baptist for over 30 years. So I know how amazing Baptist Hospital is. So if you're thinking about moving to Kendall because you need to go to a healthcare facility for you or a loved one, it's an amazing place to live. So how much does it cost to live in Kendall? So this is a real fun section. There are quite a few single family homes and condos in Kendall. So right now there are 346 properties for sale. Again, Kendall is very large, and there could be 80,000 residents or 250,000. So I did the smaller version. So 346 properties. So how does that break down? Condos to single family homes for sale. So right now there are 127 single family homes, and the rest, I'm not gonna do the math, are condos. So what I'm gonna do in this, I'm gonna share for both single family homes and condos because I think it's worth doing. First of all, the least expensive condo, single family home, the most expensive one, and then an average one. So we're gonna start off with single family homes because there are less of them, and it's probably a little bit more interesting. So 127, And if while I'm talking the numbers change, this is updated in real time, okay? So right now, 127 properties, single family homes for sale in Kendall. The least expensive is $360,000. So let's take a look at what we get for $360,000. And I apologize in advance because sometimes realtors will say a townhouse or a condo is a single family home, and I'll check it out and it's not. Okay, so this is a condo. So I'm glad I gave that disclaimer. This is a condo. Let's try and do this again. So, let's see. Okay, so this one is $620,000 and it's a townhouse. So okay, the least expensive single family home is $630,000. So what do you get for that? So this is located at 7425 Southwest 108th Avenue. This is 1,733 square foot, under AC, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, built in 1993. It's a Compass listing, which is always nice. You see if it's in a community, if there's an HOA fee. There is an HOA fee. It's $184 every quarter, so pretty inexpensive. This is in a community called Sunset Palms. The lot is very small. It's 3,400 square feet. It's a 2-story home, so it's pretty much filling up the whole area. So you have parking for quite a few cars, probably 3 or 4 cars. You have Mexican tile, which is, not preferred by most people. 2-story home. Looks like it needs to be updated. So for $630,000, what do you get? For $630,000, you get a 1,700 square foot home with a tiny lot, and that needs updated, but built in 93. So that's what you get in Kendall for that. So let's see what the most expensive one is. So this one is more exciting. So this one is $6.25 million. Years ago, you would have thought in Kendall you're going to find a $6.25 million home. This one is built in 2008, so pretty old, 17 years old. The square footage is very big. It's 8,200 square feet. The lot size, like most of them in Kendall, are big. This is 47,000 square feet. Acre is 43,560. So this is 1.1 acres. So pretty big. This has a swimming pool like a lot of the homes in Kendall have that are expensive. Let's take a look at some of the photos. So definitely a different type of looking home. Sort of, for me, it's sort of outdated. It looks sort of like a castle, but I'm not good at describing things always. But then it's like modern inside. And I know while I'm doing this, John, who's recording this, isn't seeing this. So he's like, can you describe it better? But the good thing is he'll add it later, so you won't have to worry about that. Looks like the home is staged, or they have pretty good taste for the home. Definitely a nice looking home. I'm guessing that it's probably a little bit overpriced because it has been on the market 92 days, so maybe not that overpriced. So it's a nice home. So let's figure out what the average property in Kendall is going for. So there's 127 properties now. Before it was 126. So let's go to 64. So the 64th most expensive property in Kendall for a single family home is $1.45 million. It's only 2,000 square feet. Yeah, 2,022 square feet. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It is built in 2022. It says single family home, but the lot seems pretty small. So the lot is 4,300 square feet. So I'm going to pick a different one because that's not an average type home that you're going to see in Kendall. You're going to see a bigger lot than that. So let me find a different one. So let's go to 71. This is more like it. So this is 1.35 million. This is 2247 square feet. It has a swimming pool, built in 1958. The lot is 14,400 square feet. Again, an acre is 43,560. So if my math is good, it's probably a little bit around a third of an acre, give or take. Address is 9925 Southwest 82nd Avenue. So it's East Kendall, so it's a good area. Swimming pool. It looks like an old home that's updated a little bit. So the kitchen is decent. The floors are a little bit older. It's like an old home that they're trying to figure out what they can do to make it more functional. So the home is okay, but for the most part, you're getting a nice area, decent size home, 2,200 square feet, decent size lot with the pool for 1.35 million. So that's a lot better than you would get in so many other areas of Miami-Dade County. So let's go to condos and townhouses. So there's 219. So you can see there are more condos and townhomes than single family homes. So what do you get for that? Let's see what the least expensive one is. Least expensive one is $210,000. Before they used to be like 50 and 60, but this is a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It's in a place called Spanish Trace. Our family just sold one for 200 there. So 210 is probably a decent price, but this one is a lot smaller, so maybe not that decent. This is 490 square feet. It is a condo, so there's no real space in the back. The HOA fee is $273, but it's probably going to go up since this building is a little bit older. It's built in 1968. It's a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, but only 490 square feet, so pretty small. And let's take a look at the photos. It's an older unit, probably updated in the 80s, maybe early 90s, and the kitchen probably much older than that. So for $210,000, you're getting roughly a 500 square foot condo with an HOA that's not as high as some of the other areas. So let's take a look at the most expensive one. Most expensive condo is a townhouse for $1.275 million. This is 8314 Southwest 120th Terrace. This was built in 2023, so it's pretty new. It is, they don't have the square footage of it because I don't know why. So let me see if I can figure out what the tax records and see if we could figure out what the square footage is. It says 2280 square feet under AC, so pretty big. What else can I tell you about this? It's a 4 bedroom, 3.5 bath. The HOA fee is $384 a month. What do you get for that? You have a clubhouse and a swimming pool, so not too much. The person, a lot of these realtors just make up stuff. So excellent opportunity in the highly desirable Pinecrest area. Is it Pinecrest? Let's check out. It might be, but why would you put it in Kendall? So let me look at the map. If I can press the right thing. So it is not in Pinecrest, so that's why it's in Kendall. And let's go back. It is, let's take a look at the photos. Has a garage. It looks like maybe a 2-car garage. Its floors to me are a little bit ugly. Seems like a nice place for 1.275. You could probably get a single family home that's comparable if you spend a little bit more in Kendall, and you'd get probably a much better option than that. So let's take a look at the average one. If you see me looking to the other side, we have Lil Gunty, or Ronnie, that's what her real name is. She's trying to figure out what I'm doing, and she doesn't like it, whatever it is. So average condo or single family, condo or townhome in Kendall. So there are, how many? There are 219, so let's go to like 115. So 115 is 330,000. So as you can see, the condos and the townhomes are pretty inexpensive in Kendall. If we're at the 115th most expensive and you're 330,000, it's not too bad. So what do you get for that? This is in downtown Dadeland. There's a lot of nice shopping restaurants there. This is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 780 square feet. So it's a big 1-bedroom. It's built in 2008. This is on the 6th floor. The building has 7 floors. I think the HOA is going to be pretty high. HOA is $862. That's sort of expensive for Kendall, especially for a 1-bedroom. And the amenities are exercise room and pool, so not that much stuff. So let's take a look at some of the photos. The balcony is okay. The views aren't that great. It looks like a unit built in 2008 that hasn't been updated since 2008. And 2008 seems pretty new, but I guess that's 17 years old, and styles definitely change since then. They have a nice community pool, nice terrace up top, and the location is great where you can just walk, and the walkability is very good just for that small section for restaurants and bars and stuff. So that's the average for Kendall. So what does the future have in store for Kendall? For me, I think it's very bright. It's amazing. As properties get more and more expensive in surrounding areas like Pinecrest, South Miami, High Pines, developers are buying these lots and they're building in Kendall. And what's happening with Kendall is as more and more wealth goes into Kendall, more and more nice things are being done with Kendall. So you're getting better drainage systems. Public transportation is probably going to get better. The schools are improving. Better restaurants, better stores. And you're seeing that trending more and more. But what happens too is prices go up. So prices are going to get a little bit more expensive in Kendall. You're probably going to get, as real estate gets more expensive, you're probably going to have more condos being built in Kendall. And traffic is going to get worse, but then they're probably going to try and mitigate that with better alternative types options for transportation, it's public transportation and other things. So if you watch this video up till this point and you still don't know if Kendall is the right place for you, hopefully my ratings of these 10 areas give you a better answer to that question. So number 1, daily life and vibe. For me, it's probably an 8. I grew up in Kendall. I love Kendall. Kendall it's easy to park. There's so many places to go to. People are, for the most part, pretty friendly. People, for the most part, are pretty friendly. And you're not that cool if you live in Kendall, but it's a nice vibe. Location and prestige. Probably a 4. You know, you're not going to impress people saying that you live in Kendall. It's just like sort of status quo. I live in Kendall. Oh, okay, cool. So not much prestige. The location, if the location wasn't so far south, I would probably give it a higher number than 4, but it's pretty far south for most people. For most people that are going to other fun places like Wynwood, Brickell, if they're going on vacation, going to the airport, traffic could be sort of bad, so the location isn't that great, so it's a 4. Waterfront living and views, a 5. There's not really waterfront living in Kendall unless you have these man-made lakes or canals, so there's not much waterfront living. Views are decent, but it's like garden type views or tennis courts or, nothing really that exceptional. Amenities and lifestyle, I'd say 9. Because Kendall is so big, you can pretty much do anything you want. If you want to golf, you can find multiple golf courses. If you want to play pickleball, lots of pickleball. Tennis courts, jog, gyms, there's everything everywhere. Lifestyle, so many different restaurants, just everything is available. So gets a pretty high mark for that. Privacy and security. Kendall is pretty safe, but as far as privacy, I'd say 7. Because it's safe, which is great, but privacy, your neighbors are probably gonna know about you, and they're probably gonna tell about you when you go somewhere or if something happened to you. So, pros and cons. Architectural features. 7 because it's pretty diverse. A few years ago, I probably would have said like 4 or 5, but now because there's some new construction being built and these more expensive homes, and you're getting a mix of how they're doing. They're doing these box mansions, and they're doing these more like these other mansions with character and other things, depending on the age of the person buying that property. So it's pretty good. Community engagement and local interaction. 7. People are pretty. They're engaged in Kendall. If you have kids in school, they probably know your kids, and they're probably your friends, and they become your best friends in the future. So it's pretty good. Cost of living and real estate. This is comparing to Miami-Dade County. I'm not saying the rest of the world, but for Miami-Dade County, cost of living and real estate, say 8. You get a lot for your money in Kendall. The square footage you get, the lot size you get, I'm gonna change it to 9 because it's really good. If you want a single family home and you want green space, it's really good for Kendall. Green space and outdoor living, 10. You get so much for the money there. So there's so many homes with swimming pools. It's very common to have, if you're spending an average price for a single family home in Kendall, the odds are you're gonna get a swimming pool. So it's great. The outdoor living, green space is good. Climate resilience, a 6. Even though you're pretty far away from the coastline and waterfront and stuff, you're in flood zones. So in some areas of Kendall, you are elevated, and in some areas you're not. Because it's so big, you're gonna have a lot of areas that flood. But the drainage system is getting better, so it's not too bad, but it's not perfect. So that gives us a grand total of 71 points for Kendall. Going back to the top of the ratings, Pinecrest leads at 82 points. Coral Gables is next at 74. Coconut Grove is 73. As mentioned before, Kendall has 71 points. Next is Edgewater at 65.5. Brickell is next at 65. Fisher Island and South Beach tie at 64 points. At 63 points, we have another tie, Key Biscayne and Venetian Islands. And at the bottom of the charts for now, because things may change, we keep doing more videos. At 60 points, we have a tie with South Miami and Palmetto Bay. So back to Kendall. I've been living in Kendall since I was about 6 years old, and I love Kendall. It's been such a wonderful place to live. And if you're hungry and you like bagels, make sure to check out Outrageous Bagel on 107th and Kendall Drive. So if you want to know a lot more about Kendall, click on that link in the description. We have over 20 articles from best hotels, Instagrammable spots, best places to eat, If you're vegan, even the best restaurants, daycares, hotels, schools, everything about Kendall is in that link. We even have neighborhood videos as well. So there's tons more information. So make sure to subscribe, click that link for notifications, and make sure to share it to someone that you know that is thinking about moving to Miami. This will help them a whole lot.